There is a quiet assumption people make that those who don't believe in God are angry, rebellious, traumatized, or trying to be different. But psychology tells a much more complex story, because disbelief is rarely about rejecting God. It's usually about how the mind learned to make sense of the world. This video is not about proving or disproving God. It's about understanding the psychology of people who genuinely do not believe, not aggressively, not mockingly, just honestly. And by the end of this video, you may realize that belief and disbelief are not opposites. They are adaptations. Let's begin with an important truth. Most people don't choose what they believe. Belief forms quietly, over time, through experience, emotion, and meaning, just like language, just like trust, just like attachment. And disbelief follows the same path. The first psychological factor is cognitive orientation. Some minds are naturally comforted by mystery. Others are unsettled by it. People who don't believe in God often have a strong need for internal coherence. They want their understanding of reality to be logically consistent, not perfect, but internally aligned. When something feels emotionally powerful but logically unclear, their mind doesn't reject it out of arrogance. It pauses, and sometimes that pause becomes permanent. This doesn't mean they lack wonder. It means their sense of meaning is built differently. The second factor is early conditioning. Belief is often inherited before it is examined, but for some people, the early exposure to religion felt rigid, fear-based, or emotionally unsafe. When belief is taught through fear, shame, or punishment, the nervous system associates faith with threat, and the brain protects itself, not by rebellion, but by distance. Disbelief becomes a boundary, not against God, but against emotional harm. The third factor is emotional autonomy. Some people rely heavily on external frameworks to regulate emotion. Others learn to self-regulate early. People who don't believe in God often developed an internal locus of control. They learned to rely on themselves for meaning, comfort, and accountability. This doesn't mean they think they are superior. It means their mind learned early. If something is going to make sense, I must make sense of it myself. For them, belief in an external authority feels unnecessary, sometimes even destabilizing. Another major psychological factor is exposure to ambiguity. People who don't believe in God are often unusually comfortable saying, "I don't know." They don't experience uncertainty as a personal failure. They experience it as a natural part of being human. For many believers, uncertainty creates anxiety. For many non-believers, certainty creates anxiety. They feel more honest living with unanswered questions than accepting answers that feel emotionally comforting but intellectually unresolved. This is not skepticism for its own sake. It's psychological integrity. Another misunderstood aspect is morality without belief. There's a common assumption that morality requires belief in God. But psychologically, morality develops through empathy, attachment, and social learning. People who don't believe in God often base morality on harm reduction, fairness, and human consequence, not divine reward, not divine punishment. They don't ask, "What will God think?" They ask, "What will this do to another human being?" This doesn't make them more moral. It makes their moral system relational, not transcendent. Now let's talk about existential responsibility. Belief can provide comfort because it places meaning outside the self. Disbelief does the opposite. People who don't believe in God often carry a heavier psychological burden. If there is no divine plan, then meaning must be created. If there is no cosmic justice, then justice must be pursued here. If there is no afterlife correction, then suffering matters more now. This responsibility can feel overwhelming, but for some minds it also feels honest. They don't want meaning handed to them. They want meaning earned. Another key factor is relationship with authority. People who don't believe in God often have a complicated relationship with authority, not because they hate authority, but because they question legitimacy. They are less likely to accept something simply because it has tradition, power, or age behind it. They ask, does this make sense? Does this help? Does this align with reality as I experience it? When belief systems discourage questioning, these minds quietly step away, not out of disrespect, but out of psychological necessity. Now let's address trauma carefully. Yes, some people lose belief after trauma, but many don't. Trauma doesn't create disbelief, it reveals the structure of belief. For some, trauma strengthens faith. For others, it exposes emotional contradictions. People who don't believe in God after trauma often felt abandoned not by God, but by explanations that no longer worked. When suffering becomes too personal, abstract reassurance can feel hollow. Disbelief then becomes a way to stop pretending things make sense. Another important factor is identity protection. Belief systems often come with identity rules: who you are, who you should be, what is acceptable, what is not. For some people, these identities felt constraining. Disbelief allows psychological breathing room, not freedom from morality, freedom from imposed identity. Now let's talk about something rarely mentioned. Many people who don't believe in God still experience awe. They feel it in nature, in art, in human connection, in silence. They don't label it divine. They don't need to. The experience exists regardless of interpretation. Psychologically, awe does not require belief. It requires presence. Another overlooked aspect is death awareness. Belief often softens death by offering continuation. Disbelief confronts it directly. People who don't believe in God often have a closer psychological relationship with mortality, not obsessively, but honestly. They value time deeply because they believe it is finite. Love feels urgent. Moments feel precious. Regret feels heavier. This doesn't make life meaningless. It often makes it more intentional. Now here is the most important truth. People who don't believe in God are not empty. They are not broken. They are not incomplete. They are navigating existence with a different psychological map. Just as belief meets certain emotional needs, disbelief meets others. Neither is superior. Both are adaptive. The real conflict is not belief versus disbelief. It's intolerance of difference. When people insist that belief must look one way or disbelief must mean something negative, they stop understanding human psychology. Belief answers emotional needs for some. Disbelief answers emotional needs for others. And both can coexist in a healthy society when curiosity replaces judgment. So, if you don't believe in God, it doesn't mean something is missing in you. It means your mind found meaning through coherence, responsibility, and lived reality. And if you do believe, it doesn't mean you are avoiding truth. It means your mind found meaning through connection, transcendence, and trust. Psychology doesn't choose sides. It seeks understanding. And understanding is where growth happens. If this video made you think, sit with that. Belief and disbelief are not enemies.
They are different ways the human mind learns to survive, cope, and find meaning in a complex world. And sometimes understanding each other matters more than being right.